Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I want to talk about how Dungeons & Dragons has changed human narrative and human communication, and specifically prose forever. So I have a very distinct opinion of Dungeons & Dragons. I don't think anybody else on the planet agrees with me on this. I think I have a 100% unique take on what Gary Gygax accomplished in 1974. So in 1974, most dungeon masters you talk about, they're like, this week, I sat at a Dungeons & Dragons table, and somebody who was simply watching our game, there was a disagreement between the players, and he's like, oh, well, what's important is that you guys have fun. And I just shook my head. I was like, no, that's not right. Right? And I didn't interrupt the game, but I was like, your disgusting, horrible speech is not appropriate here, right? Dungeons & Dragons' point is not fun. Okay, it is not fun. In 1974, this is what I'm saying. Gary Gygax created a way for seculars, not sacred because we already had this, to live multiple lives. He created an identity vessel. In 1974, he dropped Dungeons & Dragons, and he said, listen, the schmucks over in Wargaming, they've been doing this hollow, useless thing called, emulating killing. But you and I, this character, you will know its gender. You will know its personality. You will know its sensations, its memories, its experiences. You will be it, and they will be you. And you no longer live with one identity and one set of emotions, memories, and sensations and experiences. You are manifold sentient. You will have multiple sets of emotions, memories, sensations, and experience, and humanity will never be the same. And it never has been. In 1974, Gary Gygax cracked the world in half and said, I give the lost, the seculars of this world, 10, 100 lives. Right? And nothing that has ever been called a game will equal it. Right? And I think what he did, but now we go farther. Okay? So this weekend I was incredibly blessed. I spent the entire weekend in Harrisburg going to nothing but bookstores. Right? And I was in this bookstore in Harrisburg. It was huge. It had like 4 stories. It had 2 cafes inside of it. Right? It had millions of dollars worth of books. It had the junkiest $4 paperbacks, and it had signed Stephen King first editions, right? Like in glass cases, locked. It was incredible, right? And I saw a Dungeons and Dragons, I saw Planescape, Planescape, Adventures in Multiverse, sealed in plastic wrap in a slipcase. And I was like, what fool would buy that? They don't even know that the book has changed forever because of Gary Gygax. Gary Gygax's legacy has changed books forever, right? I buy real books today. And if you don't buy your Dungeons & Dragons books the exact way I do, you don't understand what a book is in 2023. A book in 2023 is not the same as a book was in 1923. Let me explain. Because of Gary Gygax not only changed how many people would interact with identity during their 75 to 100 years on this planet, but he changed how America would interact with books forever, okay? So, I just bought Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse. I got the physical slipcase. That book, right, is a timestamp. It says, yes, there are mistakes in this book. Some of them are little errata misspellings. Some of them are cultural strikes, right? Like huge conversations that will be written about in doctoral theses, right? Like there was one in Spelljammer, right? Like there are 1,000 podcasts, there are 1,000 YouTube channels that talked about one mistake in Spelljammer, right? And so the book is a physical history of Dungeons and Dragons that cannot be changed, right? And I will sit on my couch, right? And I will receive the and I will receive that. I'll go through the book and I'll experience it in the best possible way, right? But 3 months from now, I'm going to be traveling, and I'll be in Maryland, and I'll be invited into a Dungeons & Dragons game, and I won't have my books with me. I won't have Planescape with me, right? And I'll need, right, to play, I'll need the backgrounds out of Planescape. On my phone, those backgrounds will be there, right, through D&D Beyond. A book is a physical body, the physical book, a timestamp capturing what actually happened on the date of the release. It is physical and comfortable and wonderful. But there is also this electronic soul that is now in the middle of that book, right? And 3 months from now, when I'm 1,000 miles away from my library, I still have access to the book, right? And I can use it, and I can carry all 45, D&D Canon hardback 5th editions with me, because there's a digital D&D Beyond part to that. And if you don't own the physical, and if you don't own the physical body of the D&D Canon hardback, and you don't own the digital soul, then you don't know anything. You don't know what a real book is anymore, right? It's an experience that didn't exist in 2023, and the book is forever changed, right? The book is a living thing, right? A physical structure, a timestamp in history saying, this is what happened at the time of this release, right? A thing that is held, comfortably on a couch. And then there is this digital soul, right? That can be accessed anywhere, is ethereal, right? Can manifest whenever it is needed. And if you don't have both, you got nothing. And you don't know what a book is, right? And the reason why is Gary Gygax in 1974 hit this earth like a comet, right? And said, nothing in America remains the same. I will change the way every secular interacts with identity, and I will change the way every single American gets information, right? In 1974, he set it into motion. In 2008, he died, and his legacy sprung up like a powerful spruce, like a jacaranda, right? And America will never be the same. It is George Washington, Harriet Tubman, Gary Gygax, American heroes to the last, the people who changed the world forever. If you don't play Dungeons and Dragons, and you don't buy Dungeons and Dragons D&D Canon hardbacks exactly the way I do, you don't even know what a book is. You cannot know what a book is in 2023 if you do not know Gary Gygax. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear yours. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.